Hey everybody, it's your girl Nefarious, and today we are going to talk about a modification to the Trudy. Now this is a fun and easy modification. So what it is that you being able to sew embellishments onto the bag. Now in this case is where we're going to actually just sew down the embellishments. So I got my stock panel here with the pieces, but to kind of give you an idea of what a finished product looks like, I've got an example here of the bag with the sewed down embellishments. So just kind of giving you guys an idea of what that'll look like. So we'll get that out of our way. So when you are looking at your Trudy panel and your embellishments, you are going to have your, for this situation, you're going to have like your earpieces. There should be like 4 of them. And in this case, 2 bows. Now, right off the bat, if you are working on a domestic and you are worried about it getting too thick, I don't want you to worry about it, because since these are sewed down, you could absolutely just do 1 layer and sewing the ears down all the way and then adding the bow. And that way you're only working with at most 3 layers of vinyl. And that will still give you the same exact look of the sewed down embellishment. What K&A has done is to give you a little bit more of a 3-dimensional look. So if I pair these ears up, and the bow up, this gives you like a little bit more of a pop. So if your machines can't handle this extra thickness, don't worry about it. Just remove 1 of the layers and you'll be fine. So we're just going to jump right on it. And as you just saw me do, when you get your pieces, they're kind of a little bit all over the place on the roll when you get it. You want to make sure that you line up the pieces. As you can see, when you want to make sure you get like the front and the back panels lined up, because if they don't, you get like this weird overhang. So we want to make sure that we are lining up the right pieces, the right front and the right back. So that one goes there and that one goes there. To help me out, you don't have to do this. It just is like a thing that I do. I like to use a little bit of double-sided tape just to hold it in place. Now again, if you are not doing this 3D effect, that is okay. I'll show you what to do in just a second. All right, so we get here. Even if you're not doing the 3D like pop, that's fine. Make sure that these are good. Now there's 2 ways. If you are doing the 3D extra pop, you can go ahead and top stitch this if you want, or you could just skip that step altogether and come here like the not 3D pop is going to do. And what you can do is, if you are not doing the 3D, you can absolutely just sew these flat down. Now, you want your earpieces to be about 1 inch from the edge of this, because what happens is if you get too close to that edge, you risk getting into your seam allowance, and you don't want to be in your seam allowance. So that's what I'm looking at here, and it's going to be about 1 inch on both sides. And then you could tape it down, and then you would do a 1/8 inch base, 1/8 inch top stitch all the way around to secure those. If you didn't want to pre-top stitch them, you could top stitch it now 1/8 inch. If you want to do a top stitch before you take it to the panel so you can like clear it up and edge coat it, it's still 1/8 inch. I got a little bit of overhang here, so I may go ahead and just take it to the machine and top stitch it. When I say top coat, I'm sorry, when I say edge coat, that's like, I think I talked about it in another video or two. When you're dealing with pieces like this, it's, I follow a 3-2-1 rule, so it's 3 layers of your base, 2 layers of whatever color you choose, and then 1 layer of a gloss or matte top coat. Now for this specific embellishment here, you'll notice that the ears kind of slope a little bit more on one side than the other. So I thought it looked cuter if the longer slope went toward where the forehead would be. That's just my opinion. You guys could do it the other way. It would just look like, it would look like that, a little bit more perky. There you go. So then you could just sew this down 1/8 inch all the way around. When you sew this on, or when you are top stitching, I like to leave my threads long and then pull to the back. In this situation, this would be the back, so I would pull this to the back and then I would tie them off so that you know, you don't see the strings in the front. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that really quick. Let's wrap about the top of my head. Okay, now if you decided to go ahead and top stitch this, you need to attach it to your panel just like this is attached. Again, keeping it 1 inch away from the edge. So lining it up. Remember that the longer sloped edge needs to point toward the forehead. And then using a little bit of tape to kind of hold it in place. Of course, I just messed up my whole measurement, but hey, it's okay. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to top stitch this down at 1/8 of an inch, leaving my threads long, tying off in the back and singeing. Get the ears on. Now it's time to attach the bow. Now you can decide to do just like you did this ear, if you're going for that ultra 3D pop, to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch all the way around this bow, taking your time. Specifically around these little crevices here, what I like to do is I will hand crank right through here, just so I'm getting really nice and neat as I'm going through. Or if you're not feeling that, you can also just say, I don't want to do the 3D, and just do the one where you're just going to top stitch it down over the ear, going all the way around. Same rule applies, because you know, you still want that pretty top stitch all the way around. So I will take you to the printer. I think I'm just going to do this, but again, you could absolutely, for a mega 3D pop, top stitch this all the way around to get it pushed up. Now, if you want the bow to be removable, Suspicious Lefty did a video featuring the Yogi Bear Mav, where she did a snap on the one side. That is totally an option here. But I liked it sewed down, so I am showing you how to sew it down. So let's go to the sewing machine and sew this bad boy down. I'm going to do the one. Again, keep it out of your seam allowance. I'm going to use some tape to help me maintain that. Alright, so let's go to the sewing machine and sew that down. So I'm going to pull my threads long because I want to be able to tie it off in the back. And then I'm just going to do 1/8 of an inch all the way around. kinds of crazy back here. When you are at this point, you can now follow the original Trudy video, making sure you find your centers at the top and the bottom. But the Trudy video is linked below, so I look forward to seeing all of your adorable embellished Trudys out in the wild. Thank you for now. Ta-ta!